I'm Cheryl Wheeler Stewart. I am the Communications Officer for Birmingham City Schools, and it's my pleasure to be here, and I want to thank you for being here. This will be a very brief press conference, but hopefully you'll get some very good information and really get a glimpse into the lives of our scholar athletes who do an amazing job on the field and off the field. So thank you very much. The next voice you'll hear will be our superintendent, Dr. Mark Sullivan, who himself is a former football player in Birmingham City Schools. That's a joke. Well, no, it's not a joke. It's not. Thank you, Dr. Sullivan.
So actually, I did play, but I wasn't very good. Thank you for being here today. This is our second annual Stop the Violence football game between Ramsay and Parker High School. And just a little bit of context, this was born of an idea from the students. And so we're looking at how to address issues that involve students. We need to get the voice of students. And I am so proud that the students at Parker and the students at Ramsay are leading the way in this effort to address gun violence and violence in our community. As you may know, in Birmingham City Schools over the last 2.5 years, we've lost over 20 students to gun violence. And I want you to sit in for a second. If you lost over 20 young people in one incident, then that would make national and international news. But because it has happened over 2.5 years, a student died here, a student died there, then it doesn't garner the same type of impact. But the same 20 students have lost their lives. And that affects not only the student, but it also affects the student who is the perpetrator or the person who is the perpetrator. And so our goal with this is to listen to the voices of students and come up with a solution that is driven by our students so that our students will be able to listen to each other. Oftentimes they don't listen to us as an adults. So I'm going to ask our principals to come up. I'm going to ask start ladies first, Dr. Carolyn Carolyn Russell Walker, and Mr. Darrell Hudson come up next.
Good morning and happy Monday. Stop the Violence means a lot to us. Our students have propelled our energy to even talk with one another. Either Mr. Hudson is calling me or I'm calling him asking, what can we do differently to create environments that are conducive for learning and safe for our students? So on behalf of myself, and I know him and he'll come up next, we want to thank the athletes at Parker as well as their wonderful coach, Coach Warren. And then we want to thank the athletes at Ramsay IB High School along with our wonderful coach, Coach Jackson, for propelling us to step outside of the school day just to find out better ways that we can help stop the violence that is plaguing our city.
Good morning. Thank you, Dr. Walker. She's absolutely correct. Our high schools face some serious challenges with violence in our citizen communities, and this is a great way for our scholar athletes to have a game with a purpose. It's very unfortunate. You heard the stats that Dr. Sullivan gave that when something like this happened, we call each other to see if that's one of our kids, and it has to stop. So on this Thursday at 7 p.m., you have two great football programs as well as great schools that it's going to be a game with the purpose where these young ladies, young men, our cheerleaders, our band, our sports trainer, everyone is going to come together for a common cause because we have to curb the violence here, not only in our schools, our cities and community. It just, really dampens my heart to see young ladies and young men lose their life at an early age. Their whole life is ahead of them, potential that they have. And it's really tough on Dr. Walker, myself, and the faculty and staff. And I can't even imagine what the families go through. So we appreciate you coming this morning. You're going to be in for a treat, a great game. And it gives me great pleasure to introduce my football coach, who's in his 5th season at the historic Age Park High School, Coach Frank Warren.
And I would like to introduce Coach Jackson, who is in his third season with a championship ring already, as well as appearing in the championship his third year. So congratulations to him, and I would like to bring him up as well, along with our athletes. Thank you.
Good morning. I want to say thank God for being here first and foremost, and Dr. Sutherland for this platform, to Mr. Hudson, Walker, and Papa Jack, Coach Jackson. Last year, it was something he called me one day and said he had an idea. That's something that's going to affect the community. He would stop the violence also with the game. And I didn't hesitate. It was something I think needed for the community in the city of Birmingham, with the kids we're dealing with. It's just a sad occasion that, sometimes you got to hold your breath when you hear news of somebody getting killed, 50-year-old, 60-year-old, and you wondering, is that your kid or a student that you teach before? So this is a great honor, and we're here today to let you know that we're not going to stop after the game, and we're going to do some things in the future to hold some people responsible for Jeff.
Hello, everyone. Coach Jackson. First off, I want to thank everyone that's here today. This means it means a lot to our program. It means a lot to the city of Birmingham. When this idea came apart, it was basically like, what can we do? It was so much going on in our city. As coaches, we get a little sensitive sometimes because this affects our kids and it affects us. So when there's something like that keeps going on, our players got together and it was like, listen, what can we do to use our voice? How can we affect change? And so they said, let's have a game about all the things that we need to work on in our city. And so it all came together. We're extremely blessed by this awesome, just by everyone's coming here today and just kind of pouring into our kids. And so, again, I'm just thankful to be here. I'm thankful for our administration and just the wonderful reception we got last year. The moms that came out, the ones who were affected by gun violence, like it meant a lot, not to the parents, not to the moms, but to our players. So for them to be able to do something positive for our city is what we're all about. Like, that's what we're here for as coaches, not just to coach football, but we're here to try to affect positive change for our community. So anyway, that being said, I'll let Coach Frank introduce his players.
Players I have with me today, Naheem Alford and Jordan Crawford. They're blessed right now to be committed to a Power 4 school. And they have a few words to say.
How y'all doing? Good morning. Yeah, so it's a blessing and a privilege to be up here. I feel like this is more than just football. I feel like we came up with a good idea to stop the gun violence and all. And I feel like us standing up to it, a lot of people dying, and I feel like it's not cause for. I feel like we shouldn't have to do that. I mean, there's a lot of more stuff we could do in this world besides just killing each other, and especially as black men, black young women and all. Like, I feel like we should all just come together and just take a knee and just thank God, and then just be happy that we're here and then we see every day.
Like Naheem said, I feel like we all should just come together. It's more than just gun violence we can do in the community. I mean, a lot of folks look up to us, so we got to set the right path for the younger children that's like in middle school and they're still like coming up elementary school. Because now they start young, so you got to just go and look out for them and then just keep their head straight.
All right, I'd like to bring up my guys, Cameron Keenan, Markel Patterson, and Ryan Reese.
Good morning. How y'all doing? I'm Cameron Keenan, as he stated, senior quarterback at Ramsay High School. And we came up with the Stop the Violence classic last year. We just wanted to think of any ways like we can be of service to our community, knowing the platforms that we have and the positive impact that we can affect on the community. So we was just like trying to do anything we can to be of service to that. And winning this game on Thursday is just important to us to stop the violence, especially gun violence in our communities.
This game is much more than just lining up and hitting each other across the field. This game is about us gathering as a community, gathering as one, to do something that's been plaguing our city for more than 5 years, 10 years. This has been going on for a long time, plaguing our schools. So let's come together and just do this for our community, do this for us as, a Birmingham City School.
Following on what both of my teammates just said, this game is more than just a game. It's to and make sure that that we don't care just not about football, but about our community as well. And I haven't been affected by it personally, but I know a lot of my teammates and a lot of close friends have been affected by it. So I just want them to know that we support them at all times. And thank y'all for our time.
Thank you so much to the scholar athletes, the principals, and the coaches who've spoken so far. But in order to accomplish the goals that we want to see happen in our community with stopping the violence, we have to have a village approach. And we are so fortunate in Birmingham and in Alabama to have leaders who are also committed to stopping the violence and providing resources that will assist us in reaching that goal. I see Judge Sparks over here. Raise your hand with the Common Ground program. We have Moms Demand Action here, and you'll be hearing from some of them later. But right now, I want to hear from some of our officials who are here. We have Chief of Staff, Mr. Cedric Sparks, and we also have Councilwoman Crystal Smitherman and State Senator Roger Smitherman. So if you all would greet us and tell us a little bit about what your thoughts are on ending violence in our community. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. It's so good to see you. Although I don't like the issue, the reason that we have to be here, which is violence, gun violence, I am thankful that we do have a village approach to how we address it. I'm thankful to be able to stand here on behalf of our mayor, Mayor Randall Whitford. And I remember when the outreach came to us last year about the city collabing, and the mayor immediately said, we will absolutely do all that we can to make sure that we're supportive of our young people and supportive of the superintendent and the school system. The city has made some significant investments into ensuring that our young people have options. Thankfully, you'll hear in just a second from Councilwoman Crystal Smitherman, but when you have efforts like the Birmingham Promise, which is a $2 million contribution from the city, when you have Birmingham's financial freedom, financial literacy effort, that's another $1 million. When you have the Common Ground effort, which is the HEAT curriculum that is in our school system, it's another $1 million. I can go on and on. The Safe Havens program that is done by our Park and Rec Board, the Kids and Jobs program. There are options available for our young people. But the question is, what happens when young people don't choose those options? Who's going to reach them? Well, their options will be spaces like the lunchroom and behind the stadium and at a football game. So who's going to talk to them? It's really simple. It's the Naeems, it's the Jordans, it's the Cams, it's the Markells, it's the Ryans, it's these coaches. Their influence in many instances can go much further than a formal program. And so if we don't provide the support for them to be able to say, hey, use your platform to make sure you reach your peers in spaces that we may not ever see them, then sometimes what we do is not hitting the ones who really need it. So for this to work, for us to address the issue of violence in our community, we have to have a multifaceted approach. It has to be school, it has to be community, it has to be family, and it has to be city. And I'm thankful that we get to use a game where everyone will come together and cheer on their team. But without a doubt, we should be united on the cause of eliminating violence in our community. And I'm thankful that the young people will be the ones leading the way to eradicate it. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Crystal Smitherman, and I have the pleasure of serving on the Birmingham City Council representing District 6. As I was thinking here, listening to the students, and you guys did a great job. Like, it really warmed my heart to hear y'all say that, like, I'm sorry, I don't know your name, but you're like, keep your head straight. Like, you guys are going to be the ones for the middle school students. They look up to you all. And they're going to be like, okay, well, if they can deal with conflict, even on the football field without fighting, then I know I can. I am a product of Birmingham City Schools, and I'm not going to lie. I'm tired. I really am. I think one of the students was like, this is going on 10, 15 years. I remember going to football games and being scared about whether there was going to be a shooting. I remember, and I know the coaches are so right because the kids have to talk to the kids. One of my friends just reminded me, we were at school and she was about to actually fight one of our classmates. And I was actually the one who stopped her from fighting. I said, it's not worth it. It's not worth your future. Like, you don't want to get suspended. Like, we're about to go to college. And she is, one of the top engineers now, but it has to come from our students. Coach Jackson just said, these kids aren't bad. They're really good kids. It's just different. And I want to make sure that we continue to provide them that space for, like, mental health. We, the City of Birmingham and Birmingham City Council just approved $1 million each year for mental health services, where we have social workers in almost every school, right? And so that means whenever they lose a classmate, they can talk to somebody, because we just had a meeting with the White House, thank you to Councilor Tate, about having a plan. The mayor's office, Birmingham City Council, we were creating a plan for the gun violence. And we found out that we have to be very specific with people. So they use an example. If you have two students, we'll take either one of those. You have a friend and another friend. A friend loses a life. The other friend, the one that's still living, is going to be mad. And so they're going to say, hey, I'm going to find the person and retaliate. And so the plan that we're trying to come up with is we're going to target that student and take care of them and really bring them in before they even start the violence. Gun violence affects all of us, all of our households, whether you knew the person or not. And we have to make Birmingham a very uncomfortable place for criminal activity, because I feel like it doesn't matter what age you are. These criminals are too comfortable with this. You shouldn't be feeling comfortable shooting at an event center. You shouldn't feel comfortable, shooting at a football game. We have to make our city safe again. And, Cedric Sparks, Dr. Sparks, Judge Sparks, Superintendent Sullivan, and the principals, we can only do but so much, but we need our community together. But I want the students to know that, we will do everything that we can. I personally will help you all whatever you need me to do. But I'm very thankful for you all doing this, because I wish they had done that when I was coming up, because they tried everything but my age group. For example, they tried the curfew, they tried everything, and the violence just kept getting worse. So I'm happy to see this. I'm happy to do whatever I can, continue to fight the Birmingham City Council. But this is such a great initiative, and I look forward to seeing these two schools play. And Dr. Hudson, I do love Parker too. So I love all Birmingham City schools. So thank you very much.
I like to start off when I'm talking to set the protocol, and that is, praise the Lord, saints. Praise Him, because if we ever needed Him, we need Him right now. And I just want us to stay focused first on who really is going to get us through this. But we got to be humble enough to listen when He tells us to do the things like you all are doing right now. I want to say first, I'm Roger Smitherman, and I'm the state senator for Senate District 18, and Parker is one of my schools, and Ramsay is one of my schools, and yes, I have a dear heart to Parker. Let me just tell y'all like this: when I was going to high school, that's years ago, I used to go to Parker in the summer school, and where you could get extra credits. Yeah, and I live in Parker's district right now, so I just want y'all to know that. We tight, but Ramsay, I coach at Ramsay. So we are a little tighter there. I just wanted to say that. But focusing on why we are here, I want to commend these young people. I want to commend them, because that's a big part of what it's going to take. It's going to take a youth movement. It's going to take them with each other. And believe me, they know what's going on, and they have good ideas as to how we can solve that. You know, being blessed to be in the schools, I be around them a lot. In fact, I was there at 6:15 this morning when having some conditioning, and just to be around the young people, and if you will stop and listen to them, they will tell you many, many things that we need to do. So first, I want to commend our principals and Dr. Sullivan and the coaches for the support that you all are giving these young people. And I look forward to working with you to put fuel on the fire of this movement. I hope when we have another one of these that we also have Huffman sitting here, and we have J.O. sitting here, and we have everybody that's come together trying to work to do that. I would encourage you to continue what you all are doing as it relates to conflict resolution, because a lot of these young people just don't know. And it's our job to make sure that we provide that structure for them. In terms of resources, yes, we on the state level, we had a meeting, our budget meeting a couple weeks ago. And among the things that we as legislators talked about, that we've got to provide more resources. We've got to provide more resources for security at schools. We got to provide more resources for police officers, because that's one of the problems. I mean, we are down numbers, and it's going to take money. If you want to attract people, you got to pay them right. You know, and these people put their lives on the line. Same thing with you all as educators. We've got to do a better job even and continue to do that. So I just want everyone to know that I'm here, 100% support what we're trying to do. Whatever we can do on the state level, you all just let me know. And I want to say that to you all standing here. I didn't say you had to convince me. I said let me know. And I'm going to do whatever I can to help. I end the way that I start. All who agree with what you just heard and what I've said, let's say amen. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you again, everyone, for speaking thus far. But, you know, we have to do more than talk about this. So we're going to have resources available and hopefully do some activities that will trigger more conversation, as we discussed earlier. So I'm going to ask Moms Demand Action to come forward and tell you a little bit about what's going to be available on Thursday as we play the Classic. The game is going to be exciting. I know it's going to be exciting. It always is. But we're also going to have some really good information that we hope people will take advantage of.
Hi, everyone. My name is Melissa Bailey, and I am the Birmingham group leader for Moms Demand Action. We're a grassroots movement of, we like to say, mothers and others who are working to disrupt the cycle of gun violence in our communities, but also to provide resources. So when we were contacted last year to help provide resources for this game, we were very, very excited. I think one of the biggest things that we can all take from what's been said by everyone up here is that we have to work together as a community. And what was most impressive to me was that it was a student-led initiative because, and multiple people have echoed this, it is not my responsibility right now to tell you how things need to be. It is my responsibility to step back and allow these student athletes and students and the children that are coming up after them to affect change in their community that they want to see in this world, and that's what they're doing. And I give them all the credit in the world for that. It's so impressive to see you guys standing up here and talking the way that you're talking. I don't think I could have done that at their age. I can hardly do that at my age. So we're going to have several resources at the game. Moms Demand Action is going to be distributing free gun locks. One of the things that we make sure that we are aware of is that guns are available. And so we want to make sure that people are handling them in the safest way possible. So we'll be distributing free gun locks. We'll have several community organizations there that are focused on mental health. That's a big concern. And then also we're going to have UAB there with a program called Stop the Bleed. Many people who are shot have the ability to survive and do not survive the shooting because of blood loss. The Stop the Bleed program teaches people how to stop the bleeding until help can arrive. Those are just some of the programs that we're going to have there, but we will be there, we'll be talking to people, and we'll be asking them to continue, not just during the game, not just immediately following the game, but every day after that, so that we can make this place a better place to be. Thank you.
Thank you, Melissa. At this time, are there any questions from members of the press? None? Oh, wow, that's great. Yeah, I didn't say that. Well, look, thank you all so much for coming. Again, Dr. Sullivan, Mr. Walker, Ms. Smitherman, players, coaches, Crystal. I'm Councilwoman Smitherman. I've known since she was like this. And, of course, Parker team here. We have to tell you, too, that Mr. Sparks is also a Bison dad. Mr. Hudson, Mr. Warren, players, thank you so much. Thank you. This concludes our press conference.